welcome to another Cosette's Enchanted Journeys. I'm your storyteller, Jenny the Genie, here with my sweet stuffed cat friend, Cosette. Yep, she's stuffed, she's not real, but when we're in this magic lamp together, I like to pretend that she is. And we do a lot of silly things together. Sometimes we dance, sometimes we sing, sometimes we draw, well, sometimes we just sit and keep each other company. Good friendships are like that. You can do all kinds of stuff together, even if it's just being with each other. It's nice to have a friend like that. Do you have a friend like that? Maybe you have several friends like that. Those are the best types of friends there are. In fact, I would like to share with you a story, well, a couple of stories about friendship and the ability to laugh with each other, to kind of poke at each other and have fun, but just to be there for each other and just to be a good friend and how important it is to each of us. Would you like to go and read that story with me now? It's one of my absolute favorites from when I was a little kid. In fact, the stories about these two friends really got me interested in reading and wanting to read more, and I really became quite the reader after I learned about these two. I can't wait to share it with you. All we have to do is rub our hands together and say, I wish to go on an enchanted journey, and we can go somewhere special on my magic carpet, and we can read that story. Are you ready to do that now? I wish to go on an enchanted journey. Welcome again, friends. I hope you're ready for a few short stories from a pair of hippos that I have liked since I was little. You know, when I was a little girl, I did not enjoy reading, and I struggled to get into books and to try new books that I wasn't so sure about when I discovered these two hippos in my class one day. And after that, it was like something unlocked for me, and I just loved to read ever since then. So I hope maybe these two hippos, George and Martha, will inspire you as well if you are a reluctant reader and not sure what kind of books you like. Just keep trying different stories and see what appeals to you. But I'm going to tell you the stories about George and Martha now. How's that sound? Our first George and Martha story is called The Dance Recital. George and Martha were having a disagreement. I think dancing is dumb, said George. Dancing is not dumb, exclaimed Martha. Dancing is fun, and if you don't come to my dance recital, I'll be very angry. So, of course, George went to Martha's recital. I am going to hate this, he said to himself. But what a surprise for George! Martha's dance of the happy butterfly was so impressive. Dancing looks like fun, said George. The next day, George went to dancing class. You see, said Martha, dancing is fun. Very soon, George was in his own dance recital. Martha said that his Mexican hat dance was the best she had ever seen. Our next story is called The Garden. Martha was so discouraged. Her garden was an ugly mess of weeds. I just don't seem to have a green thumb, she sobbed. George hated to see Martha unhappy. He wanted so much to help. Suddenly, George had a splendid idea. He went to the florist and bought all the tulips in the shop. Tulips were Martha's favorite flowers. Very quietly, George crept to Martha's garden and stuck the tulips in the ground. But just then, Martha happened to look out the window. Oh dear, said George, you're always catching me. But Martha was so pleased. Dear George, she said, I would much rather have a friend like you than all the gardens in the world. Isn't it nice how George and Martha are such good friends? They hate to see each other unhappy and will do anything for each other. I think it's very sweet. Our next story is called The Photograph. One day, Martha stepped into a photography booth. I love to have my picture taken, she said. Click went the camera. When Martha saw her photograph, she was thrilled. I've never looked prettier, she said. What do you think of Martha's picture? It's pretty silly, huh? This story goes with it. This one's called The Special Gift. It was George's birthday, and Martha stopped by the bookstore to buy a gift. He loves to read, Martha told the salesperson. On the way to George's house, Martha played a tricky game of hopscotch. George could hardly wait for his gift. I can't stand the suspense, he said. But when Martha went to look for George's book, it wasn't there. I'm waiting, said George. What will I do? Said Martha to herself. I'm waiting, said George. Martha quickly decided to give George the photograph of herself. It's not much, she said. When George saw Martha's picture, he fell off his chair laughing. Well, said Martha, what's so funny? This is the best gift I've ever received, said George. It is? Said Martha. Of course, said George. It's wonderful to have a friend who knows how to make you laugh. Martha decided to swallow her pride. She saw that the photograph was pretty funny after all. Part of friendship is being able to laugh at each other and laugh at things that can be a little embarrassing sometimes too, huh? I've got another story for you. This one's called The High Board. Today, said George, I will jump from the high board. Don't do it, cried Martha. Everyone will be watching, said George. You'll never catch me up there, said Martha. That's because you're a scaredy cat, said George. But when George got up on the high board, he lost his nerve. I can't do it, he said, and everyone is watching. His knees began to shake. I'll be right up, said Martha. Martha climbed up the ladder. Now what, said George. I'll go first, said Martha, and she jumped off. Martha caused quite a splash. Everyone was impressed, and no one noticed how George got down. I just didn't feel like it today, said George. Martha didn't say a word. Isn't that the sign of a real friend? Somebody who'll help you out of a sticky situation and cover up for you so nobody knows that you were embarrassed or scared. I think Martha and George have a very special friendship. I have one more for you. This one's called The Trick. George was fond of playing tricks on Martha, but that was not Martha's idea of fun. And when she found her house slippers nailed to the floor, she was not amused. Martha gave George the old silent treatment. Oh no, said George, not that. George decided to bake Martha's favorite cake. This will butter her up, he said. When the cake was done, George put it in a box, and he went to look for a pretty ribbon. I have a surprise for you, said George. It's another trick, said Martha. Not this time, said George. Then you open it, said Martha. Very well, said George. I will. Martha bit her nails while George pulled off the ribbon. And out jumped a rubber tarantula, a stuffed snake, 4 plastic spiders, and 2 real frogs. Egods! Cried George. I've been tricked. And by the way, said Martha, the cake was simply delicious. The end. Aren't these stories about George and Martha very special? Even though sometimes they play tricks on each other and poke on each other and get under each other's skin sometimes, at the end of the day, they really care about one another and want each other to be happy and to enjoy their friendship. My idea for our activity today involves friendship. I thought it would be really special if we could make friendship bracelets together. And then you can give it to a special friend or friends and share with them and show them how much you care about your friendship and just how much it means to you. You'll need a few materials. You probably need some gimp or some string or a floss. Yarn might work as well, and some beads. And then together we can make some friendship bracelets. There's all kinds that you can make too. You don't have to make the one that I'm going to make, but I'll put a list up and share some ideas with you about how you can make a special bracelet for a friend. Ready to go? Let's go together now. Take and find at least one end of each of them. Oh, if you have a kitty like me, they might try and take your yarn from you, so be careful of that. But you want to find the ends and have those kind of all match at least for this part. And you're going to tape it onto the table or whatever work surface you can use in front of you. And I'm just using just a regular household piece of tape, and I'm just going to tape it down right in front of me. So I'm going to have one off to the left and the other 3 colors off to my right. And then what we're going to do is we're going to start our staircase. So you take whichever one you decided and you're going to make the number 4 across your work. So you're going to go across like this. So down and across. It's either a number 4 or a triangle. You can see that shape there, I hope. And then you're gonna go underneath the other 3 pieces. And while holding them down with your finger, you can just push down like this. You're gonna pull. And look, now I have a number 6. That's how you know you're going in the right direction. We've got a number 6. And you keep on pulling. And then when it's all the way wrapped around those 3, you're gonna slowly continue to pull it up towards your piece of tape. And when you get to your piece of tape, it should come to a stop. That is the first link in your staircase. You're gonna repeat that. And you're gonna keep repeating that in the same color for as much as you want. And you can also switch colors. I'm gonna do this color for a little bit so that you can see what the staircase will start to look like. But this is what you're beginning to see, is the yarn is twisting like a staircase that goes around and around, up, 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 like a castle staircase. I hope you can see that starting to twist there. That's what you're going for. I'm gonna switch over to my jewel tone, my lake blue, or in my case, I'm gonna call it my genie blue. And I'm gonna add some staircases in with that. So as you can see, whenever you switch color, it's the same principle, same way of doing it as you did before. You put 3 to the right, the colors that you're wrapping around go to the side. The color that you're using to wrap around is to your left. And we're gonna make our triangle, or our number 4. We're gonna go underneath all 3, make our number 6, if you can see that, or the letter B. I tend to think of things visually a lot when I am doing schoolwork or any sort of learning. It's easier for me to picture things in my mind. I don't know how you best learn, but that works best for me. So I see shapes and I see colors a lot, and I see things that make me think of other things to help me with this. And then you just keep going with the new color as much as you want. And the tighter you pull your knot, the less space that'll be between. In here I've got a little space you can see through. I could have made that a little bit tighter. You can try and tug it a little bit and tug them up. If you make that mistake, you can just make them a little bit tighter. It's however you like it. So just make sure you pull it pretty tight at the top. Now, as you're going around, you'll feel the thread or the floss start wanting to come around the piece you're working on. So you can reverse the direction of your string. So now I have my 3 colors to my left, and I'm gonna still make a triangle or a number 4, but instead I'm going to use the 3 to make the base here. But you're still gonna go underneath and through. So instead of a B or a 6, now I'm just pulling it through on the other side. And just keep pulling, because that thread just naturally wants to be over here. So I'm gonna try that again. I'm gonna go across and underneath, pulling it through. And hopefully, I'm gonna do a couple more of those so you can see. You'll start to see it's wrapping through and around the other side. So on that purple one, you can see it's starting to wrap around the back side. Where I didn't do that in the peach color or the blue, all of my staircase is on the front. You see that? Now with this purple lilac color, I'm starting to go around the other side, and it looks like my staircase is wrapping around. So that's a really good technique to use as you go. That is starting to look like a staircase that wraps around. So that works pretty good. So you can use my numbers if those work for you. 4 on one side, 4 on the other side. Seem to work pretty good with this amount of embroidery floss and its thickness. Okay, when you are happy with the length of your staircase or ladder, it can be shorter than this, it can be longer than this. This I made sort of so that it would fit I'm going to tape it right there, fit my wrist so you can see I have enough that it will wrap around and I can tie it together. What else could we do? We could make it long, we could make a necklace, we could make it short. You know what you could do? You could take the colors of your favorite team, your favorite sports team, or your school colors. So my school around here, the colors are a cranberry and white and black. You could use that, or you could do purple and white, or blue and yellow, whatever colors you like. And you could make these keychains to give out to your friends. So that's a fun gift too. And you could add a button or a bead at the bottom, and they could hang this from their backpack or their keychain in their bag. And that could be a special way to share your favorite team or your favorite colors from your school. Tie it and then cut it. So that's the staircase bracelet. Now I'm going to show you just a simple bracelet with some beads. When I make a friendship bracelet, I try to have somebody in mind that I might like to give this to, and I pick out colors that I think they might like, and then I go ahead and lay out kind of a pattern before I begin working. So in front of me, I have laid out some letters and some colors that I think I'm going to work with. It's probably hard for you to see, but I have the word best friend here, and I also put buddy underneath. I'm going to use buddy because I tend to call my best friends my buddies, but if you call them your best friend, your best pal, maybe you just write the word bestie, however you like to do it. There's no right or wrong, and each friendship is unique. So maybe some of yours will say best friend, maybe some will say best buddy. So the next thing I'm going to do, like I said before, I'm going to just tape my elastic down so that as I'm working, my beads don't roll away, and I don't have to hold this in my hand. I can use both my hands to put my beads onto my elastic. And I've laid out a pattern, so I just have to follow my pattern. I'm going to start from left and go to the right. You might want to have a person in mind that you want to share this with so you can get an idea of how long you would like it to be. If you make these bracelets and you're not sure who to give it to, but you just really enjoy making bracelets or necklaces or just working with beads like this, you can get creative. Again, you could make a keychain for your backpack. You could make bracelets and necklaces for your stuffed animals. You could make them for your teacher, for a parent or another adult, a grandparent. You can just have as much fun with these as you like and make all kinds of different craft projects with beads. They're a lot of fun to work with. Make these for your stuffed animals, make these for your family, make these for your friends, make them for you. However you decide to do it, just have fun, be creative, and enjoy the process. Welcome back to the Magic Lamp. Cosette and I are so happy you could join us for the stories all about friendship today. And we hope that you were able to make your very own friendship bracelet that you can share with a friend or two of your own. Keep using your imagination, keep using your creativity, and reading stories and being inspired to make new things and to play and to have fun. And, most importantly, come back and see Cosette and I again really soon. All right, we'll see you later. Bye-bye.